What is going on, YouTube and y'all squad? This your boy Yocrates. This is my last a review of the day. Well, I guess pre-recorded review of the day. I still have the Whether You Like It or Not panel on Really Be TV channel. Please meet us there. We're going to be live and in color as we always are. But this is the review for Real Housewives of Atlanta season 15, episode 3. Alright, so let's get into it. So we have Sheree. She is having both Sonya and Marlo over. So as we can clearly see, this is a clique. The other clique is, and I mean, we can sprinkle in Courtney, I guess. But it seems like Courtney and Drew are going to be a clique, even though Courtney is with Sheree. And then we have Kenya, Candy, and Manetta. So that's kind of how this thing is going. But anyway, so they rehash BravoCon, and Joyce is still talking mess about Ty. And it's interesting how it's only two things they can really talk about, and that's because Sheree ain't have nothing to talk about that involved her. Marlo didn't have anything to talk about that involved her. So we're gonna bring up Joyce, but again, we all know Joyce is a yeah. And then Sonya brings up her issues with Drew, saying that, you know, the reunion hair flip. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, but from what she said, first that was the reunion hair flip that sent her. And then an olive branch was extended to go to Drew's mom's birthday party, and then it was the BravoCon thing. And all Drew said is, so was I really causing a problem, or did you kind of come trying to pull a problem out of me? And to me, granted, I didn't see BravoCon. I mean, if it's on Peacock, it might be on Peacock. I might see if I can find it. I'm really not that pressed to live it, like relive it or whatever, but it seems like it's not that big of a deal, and it really does seem to me like Sonya is looking to have an issue with Drew. Real talk. And I ain't got it to do. And Sheree talked about her situationship. We ain't talking about it, because I don't care. My channel. So we get Drew and Ralph. They're doing a rock climbing day. Drew had to let go because of her nail. Now, my thing is, Miss Ma'am, if you know that y'all going on a rock climbing day, you should really shouldn't care that much about your nails. Like, come on, ma'am. And, you know, she was having a hard time because it seemed like the area that she was climbing, the rocks were really spaced out. And it seemed like this was her first time. So that's when she let go because of her nail. But she did not know how to propel down. So literally she was just kind of hitting her body up against the wall. And it appeared that Ralph was genuinely concerned. I'll say that. But then she ends up going to an area that was a little bit more condensed with the rocks, and she did good. They talk about, well, Drew asked how would he feel if she went from being a 100%, you know, housewife, staying home with the kids, to, you know, doing music, which I'm like, and I wonder if she's still doing acting, because it's like, if that's the case, then this is kind of a moot point. But he was like, oh, it'll be like Ike and Tina. See, when people say stuff, who was the last person that said Ike and Tina? What's that boy name? Lataco's Rocky. Right there. That says everything. And again, we all feel like Ralph be skibbity papping. Because I got to be creative where I said be skibbity papping Drew. And you immediately go to Ike and Tina. Okay, alright. Their song has reached 30,000 streams. Drew is happy because, you know, hey, that's something. And he's not impressed because it should be better than that. And he was like, yeah, because, you know, the marketing, you know, really wasn't where it should be. And then Drew says, well, that's because, you know, you released it, you know, did what you did, and then you went back to work. If y'all caught Ralph's face, because in essence, he was kind of internalizing it. So I'm the reason that it's not a success. Yeah, you can't be critical of Mr. Ralph. That's what I'm getting here, right? And here's the other thing, and let's keep it a buck. When it comes to production, it is what it is. I don't follow Drew, so I don't know. But my whole thing is, so you released this. You didn't reach out to Candy. You didn't reach out to Kenya, since they have the largest, social media followings on the show. Did you ask them to push it? Because again, Candy has no problem with, promoting other people and supporting other people. So did you do that? Did you utilize those that were around you? Did you go on a small little campaign tour or whatever? Better yet, did you reach out to YouTubers? Like, it's things you can do to get this thing popping and circulating. And also, what would have been better is if they were working on this during last season, why didn't we see that? And it could have been you drop it at the end, like say, oh yeah, and it's dropping on this date, or it be made to where, oh, this has dropped after the reunion or something like that, where use where you are to push where you're trying to get to. So that was bad on y'all's part. We get Kenya. Kenya is going off on her graphics person because they didn't size a certain picture right, and she's getting ready to do something. And you have Kenya saying, "Well, I'm so nice, and this and this and this," but they're literally showing the diametrical opposite, and it's just like, "Oh, this is hilarious." And her assistant just looked at the camera, just like, "This is what we deal with." Baby, when I tell you I hollered. Okay. So she FaceTimes Manetta, and Kenya's going to be doing a surprise performance for the HBCU. It's going to be a Magic City classic, and she's going to be teaming up with the band, to kind of reenact Kenya Moore hair care. And because Manetta does choreography, she wants to bring her on to help her with the event. Cool. So we get Candy, and she's with Don Juan discussing her do or, must list, and it's a lot on there. And I'm hoping this was just a scene for us, because I can't sit here and believe that Candy does not have a spreadsheet or something in place where it's the task, it's the due date, and everything is synced chronologically. I'm just hoping it was just them throwing it on the board, brainstorming, or just giving us a scene. I really hope and pray, but I believe that's what it is. So then Candy lets us know that she's willing to be an executive producer on Todd's movie, but that's it, because Todd wanted her in the lead role. And Candy also says she doesn't want the optics as in addition to only EPM, because the optics would be, oh, well, you just created this just so your wife can have the lead role, because of course people are quick to diminish somebody. And I mean, we have seen it in Hollywood a lot when it comes to directors and writers, and how they will put their significant other in a position, and it's just that person was never deserving, and it's just a commercial flop. So Don Juan pretty much just says, in essence, saying that she needs to, reciprocate what Todd gives her, because Todd be 10 toes down for you and doing all this other stuff. Just make sure that you're giving back to him what he's giving to you. Cool. Manetta stops by, and then they recap BravoCon, which makes more sense, because again, this is when you bring up Joyce with Candy. And, Candy was like, yeah, she and her mom was on the Dynamic Duo panel, and a question was asked, who do you trust more with your money, Don Juan or your mother? And she pretty much said Don Juan, because I know my mother wouldn't be kind to Todd if it came down to the money. So it appeared that when her mom and her aunts was on a completely separate panel, that and she didn't say this, but I kind of feel like she was trying to allude to the fact that maybe her mom's answer to the question that she was being asked was get back, because of Candy not saying, yeah, I would trust my mom with my money. So she was asked, let me make sure, what type of man would you want for your daughter? And Joyce said, I would have picked someone who has a decent job. And we knew, look, Joyce knows what she's doing. And if I'm not mistaken, Joyce is the youngest of the three. Joyce gonna talk her ish. One thing I can tell you about the youngest, I'm talking about myself too. Oh, we gonna talk our ish. Okay, that's what's gonna happen. So yeah, and Candy even said like Todd was upset, but Todd was more upset that Candy didn't tell him about that, but that Kayla did. But from the optics of it, I don't think Candy was present when that panel happened. So I guess Kayla might have got hold of the video, and I think Candy said that she had also saw it, but I'm pretty sure he felt a way that he had to find out by way of his daughter, right? And Candy whole thing is, I'm sorry, hold on, wait. hmm They want her to tell Joyce how it makes her feel. And it seems like at this point that Candy is really getting, fed up. But again, when you sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's when you actually gonna do something. So we shall see. So we get Drew. Courtney is coming over, and Drew wants to make a good impression because hey, this is Ralph's cousin. Candace Dillard Bassett from the Real Housewives of Potomac. I'm a fool. Calls Drew because she's in town, and Shamari was supposed to be a guest. Was supposed to be a guest during her set, but she can't. So she's asking Drew if she wants to do it. Now, part of me is just like, I know dang on well, because I would have been one of those like, I am I an afterthought? I'm not an afterthought to nobody, baby. But it's also one of those where it's cross promotion, right? And honestly, I don't know. Maybe she was always gonna have Drew. I don't know. It just seems a little weird, but it's cross promotion for Candace. And in addition to that, yeah, we get Drew to have a scene, and have all the girls there, this and the third. So okay, cool, got it, makes sense. So then Courtney comes over with her ex, whose name is Bryce. And then we find out that Drew knew him because they did a project together. And Drew just feels that this is so divine that we all just happen to know each other. Okay. So Drew goes to FaceTime Candy. And Courtney's face is, I know you like what now here's the thing. Oh, I was loud. I had to literally cover my mouth because I was laughing so hard because they even did the whole playback of Candy saying she wanted the head, but man, that was funny. That did about took me out. I ain't even gonna lie to you. My dog looked at me like, okay, daddy, you doing too much, but that's okay. She alright, she alright. So, what else? Da-da-da-da. And Candy was kind of, no, so she calls to invite her to the performance. And she's like, oh yeah, and Courtney's here. And Candy is looking at her like, is this really why you call me? Like Candy was not having it. And Drew whole thing is, well, I mean, I heard there was something, like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm not trying to cause nothing. I'm not trying to bring no drama. But if you were told that Courtney and Candy had words, and whether you know the severity or not, Drew, you were being messy. And again, you're trying to create a moment. Let's keep it a buck. In this particular scene, you were trying to create a moment. And it wasn't cool because you almost got cussed out by Candy. But Candy says she gonna be there, so it is what it is. Courtney and Drew talk, and Courtney says, the quote unquote she's over the quote unquote situation, and she will support Drew as long as it doesn't make anyone insecure. And it's like, okay, you over it, but you being real shady, real passive aggressive and whatnot. Okay, all right. And then she says, because, even Sonya told me to confront her. And then after I did it, she claimed like she didn't say that she said it. And and it's funny how you have Sonya with, her clique talking about Drew and how, shifty Drew is. But now you have Drew with Courtney, who unless they lying to us, you don't know from a can of paint. And now you commiserating about your castmate. Okay, all right. Do you? We get Marlo with the kids, and yeah. Now Marlo gives us something at the end of the episode, but this right here, yeah, she with the kids picking up some clothes. Okay. Now we get to the concert. Sonya truly wants to, start over with Drew. That's what she says in her interview. Marlo feels like Candy hasn't forgiven her since the reunion, and even says, if I was a man, she would have, or if I was a, piece of chicken. And again, this is in her interview, but again, interviews are shot after, the scenes and whatnot. And it's like, okay, well, that's how you still feel. And then Marlo goes to the bathroom, and Sonya asks Kenya, Ken, and Manetta, so no one's speaking to Marlo. And it's like, dang, you caping this hard for Marlo. For real, for real. And it ain't no one, so like, you clearly see ain't nobody really seeing it for her, so you don't really have to ask a question about the obvious. But okay. And here's the thing, Sonya, if you're gonna be the ish starter, if you're gonna be the bone carrier, you need do the job. Stand in it. Don't be, talking over yourself, stuttering, all this other stuff. Like, if this is the role that you're trying to play this season, commit to it. If not, give it to somebody else. Okay, like we told Cynthia. Okay, when she tried to do that, when it came to Mr. Chocolate and the Phaedra thing and whatnot, you not a good bone collect. You not good at that, baby. Don't do that. Be the peacekeeper. Be the let's come to Jesus person. That's who you be. Okay, that's what we was telling Cynthia. Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to. Sanya. Thank you. Okay, so what else? So Manetta says, her thing with Marlo is that she tried to play me in, Jamaica. And it was the whole thing of before she came over there to really just, kind of see like what was going on. Marlo saying, oh, well, Candy, what is it? Hold on, wait, because then well, pretty much like Candy let her come and all this other stuff. And Manetta whole thing is, okay, you got something to say behind my back, alright, cool, but I'm not gonna sit here and smile in your face. I'm not fake. And then Sheree, we find out she can't make it because she's quote unquote under the weather, but she said, I don't want to come, be with Flop It with Drew. Cute. But again, I need for Sheree to have these one-liners in person. Okay, Sheree is a confessional gangster, but she don't have the words and whatnot. Now she has had a few moments where, like, when she like, well, who gonna check me, boo? But she don't have many of those moments with the girl. She doesn't. It's like that's Sheree. Candace is performing now. I like Candace, but I'm finna be shady. Y'all remember when Tamar Braxton came out and how Tamar was trying to give her best Beyonce? It seemed like Candace was trying to be Tamar, trying to be Beyonce. I said, look, I like Candace, y'all know I do, but that's what it was giving me with the bodysuit, or is it a leotard? I don't know, whatever she was wearing, and the blonde wig. I'm like, oh, okay, Candace, all right. So Drew did nice, but she did a little, she pop, but she did alright. And even with what she was doing, it was clear that she wasn't trying to outdo Candace. And you do have some artists that will share a stage with somebody and they set and they just gonna sit here and they just gonna take it over and whatnot. So it was cool. Now all the girls felt the way, just like, so you was up there, you invited us for this little bit, this little, that's it. I think she sang all of 44 seconds. She was up there 44 seconds. And it's like, y'all are so critical. But I mean, yeah. Again, it is what it is. But yeah, they clown Drew for that little snippet. I ain't even gonna lie. So Kenya mentions that Sonya gave Drew a standing ovation, and Drew was taken aback, like, oh, cool, all right. So now Sonya wants to discuss, what's going on with them because, BravoCon, she felt like Drew went into actress mode. And look, y'all, I understand that. Actually, no, we got Drew back last episode. So if you really, again, this is the stuff that I be saying. Like, if you really feel like it is a thing, how hard is it to be like, hey, can we go out for lunch? I want to discuss some things, and we got the cameras at da 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 da. And y'all don't even got to do all of that, but you wait until you're amongst the group because you want to bring this up. And in essence, kind of like, you could have just been happy for her in that moment, and y'all could have talked about this at a different time. But okay, we here to shoot a show, whatever. And Drew was like, well, I felt like, after I dropped, my little merch that, you unfollowed me because of that, and that was a thing. And Sonya was like, no, it was, the hair flipped, and it was this and that. And Drew was like, okay, well, look, I really just don't want to go backwards. Like, can we just go forward? And they hug it out, agree to disagree. They've done this song and dance before. I'm going to need for them to cut it. If they come back beefing again, unless it's some real juicy stuff, I ain't talking about it. Because again, I'm okay with talking about good stuff. Like, you heard me talk about Drew, almost busting the stuff and whatnot, doing the rock climbing. Like, I'm cool with that. I don't always need there to be drama. But when it comes to Sonya, I think she's trying to have a problem with Drew, and I'm just not here for it. I'm not. It's draining. And I think all of the other women on the show see that as well. All right, where are my notes? Okay, so then Drew says she's glad that this is a place of healing, and she wants to know what has she missed. And I'm like, okay, Drew, you being messy, you trying to sit here and create a moment. And I think the intent was, I know that my husband's cousin, who I just met, and Candy had a little tiff, so she was trying to, make it. It wasn't an organic transition, but she was trying to make it that. And Candy brings up Courtney talking about her to Sonya. Courtney says, she's from the hood. And and what she said is the ghetto people started to come, which was true. And Kenya says, okay, this is coming off aggressive, like, you're lighting the match again, the way you're rah-rah. Now, I bet you somebody's going to be like, oh, Lord, here goes Kenya using the A word again. I bet you somebody's going to say it. But the way look, it really does seem like Courtney is animated. That might just be her character. I might have to give her that. Candy says that, the place should be happy for the support that they got. And Candy's whole thing is, okay, I came there, and then the next thing you have a wave of people coming. You need to be happy, and not really her, but and I don't even think the establishment was mad, but just be happy, like, okay, you have this influx of support. Like, come on now, stop playing. And then she says you shouldn't look down on people based off of where they come from. And I think that was Candy's whole thing, because and you have Courtney saying that she grew up in the hood, she has family, whatnot, this ghetto, but you have this elitist air about yourself. It's very off-putting. So then Courtney is, clapping her hands and whatnot and saying, oh, Candy, you're triggered. Really trying to sit here and push the button and turn the knife. And Candy replies that what is triggering is you don't know me, and I bring everybody out when you are the ghetto. Oh, well, all right. Sonya pretty much says, okay, well, in the spirit of healing, because they pretty much did it right there. And, air things out. Monyetta, you said Marlo was trying to play you. And Monyetta, said what it was. And Marlo, whole thing is, okay, but you said that, what's going on between me and Candy, and as long as I'm respectful to you. So is that it? And that was a real quick, here we go. Like, nothing really came of that. So, Sonya, you tried to help Marlo have a moment, and we really got nothing. So then Drew is inquiring about the, one second. My bad. So Drew was asking Candy about, the incident that happened without, going too much into detail. And Candy's like, it's a private matter. No, because she was saying incident. She was saying incident. And Mark was like, what? The shooting? And it seemed in this moment that Marlo knew what it was. And it's one of those where we as people, we want to bring up a topic that we know might be sensitive, but it's certain words that we do and we don't want to use, and certain connotations and whatnot. And you have Marlo really just, bucking and acting a plumb fool, and then Candy's like, it's a private matter. And then Marlo gets upset because in her mind, everybody else has to share, but Candy doesn't. And everyone allows, this thing to just be swept on the rug when it comes to Candy, but everybody else has to share. That's debatable. So, and then Candy was like, okay, well, let's talk about when you shoot that girl face then. And Marlo's whole thing is everybody wants to bring up my past. And then pretty much, the girls pretty much congratulate Drew. They try to hurry up and just like end this so it doesn't go anywhere. And it's like in scene. But then apparently 30 minutes after production had wrapped, Drew and Marlo were having a conversation. And Marlo is trying to figure out why wouldn't Drew use the word shooting instead of incident. And her whole thing is she was trying to be respectful of it, especially given the fact that Drew has lost people to, gun violence. And she even said to Marlo, like, I know that you have, so I'm trying to be respectful of it. And I also believe, even though Drew was helping to produce a scene, I don't think she was trying to have a moment. She was just trying to produce the scene because she had said that she was there either 2 days or 2 weeks before the shooting happened. So she was just, putting it out there. And if Candy want to talk about it, cool, whatever. But like, let Candy be the one to, bring it out and use the words that need to be said. Because sometimes when we're talking to friends about stuff or even family of things that have happened, we know what it is. But rather than just come right out and say it, is let me build up to it, or in a roundabout way, let me say it, because I know it's a sensitive topic, and I want you to be the one to actually come out and just say what it is. So Drew is trying to explain this to her, and Marlo is saying, like, you know what, I'm going to be quiet. And then even says to Courtney and Rob, I want y'all here so y'all can be a witness to this. And she's like, I'm going to be quiet, I'm going to let you talk. And that's when Drew explained what she had to say. And then Drew pretty much grabs her flowers and is motioning to leave. And Marlo is kind of upset, like, so you're not even going to let me say my piece. And she's just like, Drew, like, I lost someone to gun violence. Like, my cousin worked in her restaurant. Now, things were put into perspective after. Sometimes when you're in your feelings and whatnot, you won't necessarily explain everything, because in that moment, it made it seem like she was, like, I'm sorry, her cousin was in there when it happened. But obviously, because he passed 2 years, well, like 2 or 3 years ago. But her whole thing is, she had a cousin that worked in her restaurant, and when he went on to Glory, she had sent a message to Candy, like, do you know this person, or does this person work for you? And Candy was like, not anymore. And she was like, yeah, this is my nephew. Someone, killed him, this, that, and third, whoop, wham. And Candy replied, like, I'm so sorry for your loss. And then we see unaired footage of her talking to Candy. And she was like, yeah, because people been blowing up my phone all day. She was like, for what? And Marlo's whole thing is, why you acting like you don't know when I told you the day before? And to me, it came off like, well, for what? Like, I'm giving you the floor to explain your situation because this happened to you. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like Marlo is really trying to get something from Candy that she really not finna get. And she internalizes the way that she did. She even says, Drew, like, stop being an actress right now. Like, I'm not playing. And then she grabs Drew's hand and put it on her chest. And you can clearly see that Marlo is having a legit moment. And I'm still kind of iffy on, like, what was really triggering to Marlo. I still haven't figured it out yet. And then, Drew was trying, and Drew's like, you know what, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this. And Marlo's like, I lost my cousin. And then gets up and lunges towards her, but she doesn't touch her and leaves her about, I lost my cousin. And like, literally, and Marlo is outside, it's like, stop being an actress. And let's be clear, Drew does a lot of acting on this show. She does. So I understand her frustration, and Drew looked dumbfounded, but at one point she was about to like laugh, but kind of caught herself. So I don't know, but I think Marlo might have been right. Drew might have really been acting in that moment and trying to be fake sincere. But yeah, that was the episode. That's all I got. So I'll see y'all tonight on Really Be TV's channel. Rate, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will see you all then. Peace out.